What are we cheersing?
I don't know. Just being boys that play bass with beers. Is that a beer?
No, this is a decaf coffee.
I thought we could make a whole song. Beers, bass, boys. Should we just chant that? Beers, bass, boys, boys, bass, boys,
lads,
boys, beers, bass, boys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Let's start the podcast. Hello and welcome to In the Pocket. My name's Jonny.
And my name is Jeff.
Fuck. Two totally average bass players, and we're here to talk all about that bass. As well as answering your questions at home, each week we take a look at the latest news, maybe break down some tones, or to give you the lowdown on the low end. Hello, Jeff. How are you?
Hello, Jonny. My middle name's Jeff.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. That's why I said it, obviously.
Wow. Chris Jeff Horrocks. I'm changing your name now.
Oh no. Please. Aren't I saved as Crisis Horrocks in your
No, you're saved as Crisp Horrocks. Ready salted Horrocks. Yeah,
salt and vinegar Horrocks.
Oh.
You're just Jonny Dibble in mine.
Wow.
Right.
Absolutely zero banter from Chris.
Everyone in my phone just has their name saved in my phone. That's
very sensible.
Well, so I can ask the robot that lives in my phone to call you if I'm driving.
That is so true. I have to ask mine to call Crisp.
Literally, you see what I mean? Exactly. You're all funny until there's an emergency,
and it's calling Gary Lineker, and I'm like, no,
and then actually call Gary Lineker. Anyway, this is just already off the rails. Jonny, how are you?
Yeah,
hello.
I am good, thanks. I'm very good. It's been a good day. I've been doing bass all day, basically. Or talking about bass, thinking about bass, unboxing bass. You know,
I am bass.
I'm so based right now.
Wow.
Based with my beer. That's what I am. Because I'm a bloke. Oh, there's another B word.
Wow. Blokes, beers and basses. We really should have maybe when
we brand the podcast.
Well, when Channel 4 eventually pick this up, will be Blokes, Beer and Basses.
Oh, much better name.
Much better name. Well, I was going to say I'm not a bloke. I don't play bass and I don't have a beer. Two of those are correct, but this is a decaf coffee with. It's very faded at the moment, but this is a really old mug where basically it says E equals MC squared on it, but the MC squared bit is crossed out, and instead it says F flat, and that makes me chuckle because E equals F flat.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
There ain't no E sharp.
Yeah, E sharp. Anywho, why don't you tell the lovely people what we are doing today?
Well, today we have a couple of news items to get through, first of all. And then we are going to be ranking bass amp brands. So make sure you stick around to get through our first section and keep you all up to date. So you can see what we think of some of the popular and lesser known bass brands on the market right now. And we'll talk more about that later on. First of all, Chris, so rude of me. I did not ask how you were and what you've been up to.
Oh, that's all right. No one cares.
So moving on.
I've been really busy, genuinely really, really, really busy with things I am not prepared to share with people.
OMG.
So that I've not really been posting on Instagram much the last kind of like 2 weeks because I've been sorting out a big thing behind the scenes, like doing lots of work, but it's not sexy work. It's just me sat practicing, learning stuff, and playing a lot of bass, but just top secret. Big things coming soon. That's all I'm going to say for now. Big things coming soon, but hopefully big things revealed soon. Ooh.
Nice. Big things are
Down,
happening.
down, 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 down.
Wow.
No, I'm not the new James Bond.
I was going to say, you're joining the James Bond tribute band.
Oh, yeah.
That's the tribute band idea.
I mean, I don't like every James Bond theme song.
No.
But I do like a lot of them.
There's just one the guitar. If you're playing guitar in James Bond band, that is sick, isn't it? You just do the James Bond chord,
and you got the
end of every song.
Yeah.
That is the first song I learnt on guitar.
Very nice. Well, I meant more the actual like theme songs, like Goldfinger and all that sort of stuff. But there's some good ones in there. I just don't like the Jack White one, I'll be honest.
What was that for?
No.
Was it for?
That was for Quantum of Solace.
Yes, notoriously.
Which is equally quite a bad film as well. When you think about it.
Yes, the production of that film is quite interesting. Actually, anyway, let's.
Yes, it is, and I already know about that, but we'll not go into that right now because this has nothing to do with films. This is a bass podcast.
It's got bugger all to do with it. Yeah. Right. My mouse has died, so I'm going to have to go.
Oh, that's good.
Closer to the camera to reach my laptop here.
Okay.
To show you the news item. So apologies, everyone, for my big head that's going to be on screen. Actually, it looks a bit better like this.
Does it?
I think so.
And what lens are you rocking today? Because you're quite close, but it still looks good.
This is the same lens as always, baby.
Which is?
It's the Samyang 1.8 24mm.
Very well.
Yeah.
That I may or may not be buying very soon. But anyway,
baby.
All that's boring. We're not talking about camera equipment. We're talking about bass. Not my well-being, not camera equipment, bass.
Bass equipment. And the first bit of bass equipment we're going to be talking about is hot off the press, actually.
Very hot off the press. Hours old, this news. Well, at time of recording. 4 days old.
We have got a new signature jazz bass from Blue de Tiger. So if you don't know Blue de Tiger, she is a kind of, I don't know how she started. She was kind of like a TikTok DJ, first of all.
Really?
Yeah.
I was actually going to ask you about that because she just appeared one day to me on TikTok and she already had like a gajillion followers.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it went. And then she's kind of a singer-songwriter and, primarily a bass player and is, a very good bass player, as you can hopefully see in this video. She's had a custom jazz bass for a while, but now we've got it as a signature production model for £1,400, which is kind of standard for the Mexican-made artist models that we're seeing now. But yeah, this is similar to the one that she's had before, but with a couple of tweaks. So I'll walk us through. We've got a chambered older body, so it's a bit lighter. This insane sparkle like blue burst finish, a mirror guard to match all the chrome on there, and then 2 cream pickups, one of which being a kind of one of them is a Player Plus jazz bass pickup, and the bridge is a custom humbucker. And I think it's got her name on it, like it's the custom Blue Tiger, whatever it is, humbucker that's on there. I'm trying to find it where it says the official name of it.
They did name it. It had a pretty cool name.
Got it.
It's two jazz pickups wired together to create to create a humbucker essentially.
Yeah, a bit like in the Meteora. It's the custom Blue Tiger Fireball bass humbucker. That's right. So it's meant to give you, a vintage punch with a modern, crispy sound on top. Pretty cool. I think this jazzy boy. Like I said, it's a chambered body, so it's going to resonate really well, and it's going to be a little bit lighter. She is known for walking about lots on stage and being quite active, and so I imagine that helps a lot with that kind of thing. And it's pretty cool. It is got a 3-band preamp on board. So I have previously been skeptical of Fender's active electronics in the past, but ever since having the Meteora and playing Player Plus, I was like, okay, all right, Fender, I see you. Pretty good. So yeah, I've been enjoying that as of late. But yeah, here it is, the Blue to Tiger signature bass. What are your thoughts, Chris?
I have very few complaints about this, genuinely. I really like it. I listened to the video yesterday, our time of recording on YouTube when it came out. I thought both pickups sounded really good. I think the look is really good because I've got a thing with signature instruments where I have no problem with a signature. I have no problem. I have no problem in general. I have
Talking
no problem
on a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. This is 2 podcasts in a row I've done this now. I have no problem with a signature instrument. The issue I find with signature basses, guitars, drum kits, whatever, is where they make it painfully obvious who it belongs to, basically. It's got the name all over it, or, there's like that person's band's logo on the fretboard, all these like really big, obvious decisions about who this belongs to. Yeah. And I think the best signature instruments, especially ones that sell and have like really long shelf lives and run as products for years, are the ones that fly under the radar and you don't really realize it's a signature model unless you like look at the back or you look really closely. Like the one that always like the ones that stick out for me are things like the Mark Tremonti PRS. Doesn't really have the word Tremonti on it anywhere apart from like the headstock. And I'm pretty sure it's on the truss rod cover, so you can take that off if you wanted to. And then a really good example of that not working is Mono Neon's signature jazz bass, where you literally, it'd be impossible to not know it's his signature one. Can you think of any other good signature ones? I even think like Troy, the more recent Troy Sanders one, that's not super obvious that it's a signature model, if I remember correctly. And this is exactly the same, like apart from the fact it's blue. But if you didn't, so the point is, I think a good signature instrument, you cannot be a fan of that person's music and still, this could still be an option for you to purchase, like the Mikey Way jazz bass.
Yeah,
you could want nothing to do with My Chemical Romance. You don't like them in any way, and you can still look at that bass and go, "Well, I'll try it," and then you might still buy it. That's what I think is like the best business move.
Absolutely, I think this one toes the line. I think it's not obvious that it's hers, but it's pretty obvious that it's not standard.
No, of course, there's
no other bass.
Of course not. It's pretty bold, but I don't look at that and go, oh, well, that's obviously the signature model of, I mean, the more I say it, like it is bright flipping blue. So, there is that too. But I think it's professionally well designed, if that makes sense.
Definitely. And I'd be excited for Blue to come on the podcast and tell us all about it. Please. That would be great.
Please, if you could. Because you're actually really good at bass.
Yeah. We need help.
Help.
We are classically totally average.
We had a master educator of bass on 3 weeks ago, and nothing has changed.
I am worse.
If anything, I think I'm getting worse at the moment. I've done so much playing. I think I'm getting worse.
I go through phases like that all the time.
Yeah,
man. All the time. Should we keep in signature land now?
I would love to. Yeah.
We're going to kind of revisit a piece of news now. I think I know what's coming because today, at time of recording, Premier Guitar released an updated rig rundown for Green Day. And of course, the word on the street and what we've covered in previous episode, the Mike Dirnt G3. What is happening? Is it an Epiphone signature? Are we getting that? Oh, he's got one with Bard now. What's going on with that? All sorts. Very strange.
Many speculations have been speculated.
And Gibson telling me, no, it's not. I don't know. That was a great impression. And oh, that's good. Oh, there we go. And look, here it is. Obviously, we've seen it on stage, but here is the tech talking about the bass itself, confirming that it will be coming out. Gives away some of the specs, got ebony fretboard, yeah, it's, I mean, not too many specs. Got a Goto bridge on it, high mass, which is cool. Not like a floating 3.0, which they very easily could have done. Yeah, there it is. They've got it in the silver burst, and also I think it shows later on the white one as well with the maple neck.
Oh yes,
which we've kind of seen a bit less of, but oof, there it is.
Ooh.
Slow pan. For me, the silver burst is still the winner, but that's still very nice and just sick. Look at that. Oof,
that is lovely.
So cool. So yeah, news is that it is confirmed? Question mark. And it should be coming out. We still don't know when or any details like that. I might reach back out to Gibson again and say, "Oi."
You should reach out to them, but just send them a YouTube link, and when they click it, it's the video of the guy going, "Why are you always lying?
Always lie. Stop fucking lying."
Or the kid from Bolton who just goes, "Why lying for?" Why, letter Y, why are you, letter U, trying to gaslight me?
Yes. Me specifically. This is set up for
me. No one else, just you.
Yeah. Yeah. What an interesting thing about these, that now it's confirmed. I'm going to say it's confirmed. How much would you pay for one of these?
I don't know, because it's tricky. Because we're seeing, it's like, what do we compare it to? Because how many other signature Epiphone basses have we had in the recent past? We've not really had that many.
Jack Cassidy, that's about it.
Yeah, and then we have to start comparing it to Fender, and then it's I really don't know, because I'd love to see this under $1,000. I think that would be amazing in terms of value for people of all budgets and levels of expertise. But I can't help but feel like this is going to end up being 1,200-1,300 quid or something like that, because Epiphone know, well, we stick another 300 quid on the price, a lot of people will still buy it. I really want one of these. Yeah. But it is going to come down to the price, because if it's silly money, it's going to be a case of, well, I don't need it that badly. I would just love a bass with this configuration, because I love that $1.50 sound. I think just sounds fantastic. And it can be used in so many different applications. And I would love something like I would love a G3, but I'm not willing to spend the money on an authentic vintage one. I don't want one that badly. But if this is a reasonable price, I would get one. And again, like we just said, signature model. It's not painfully obvious. It's a Mike Dirnt thingy. It's not crazy. It can still fly under the radar and just be, oh, look, you've got a G3.
Yeah.
But again, this is all about price. Do you know how much this is going to be, or are you just speculating?
No idea. I was just in a couple of conversations with people before this, speculating how much they're going to be, etc. Because people are excited about this, and I had several people send me the link to this as soon as it was uploaded. Oh, here it is. For me, I think that I can't see it being under £1,000. Only because
I think we're going to get done dirty here.
Yeah, but looking at the Jack Cassidy is £640 new, which I think is a good price. Similarly, the Sterling Pete Wentz was kind of around that price, kind of £700. The Epiphone Grabber that they confirmed that's coming out, the one with the non-moving pickup, is £929. There's no way
they're not going to do this under that, because this is very much an upgrade against that bass.
And if that
if that bass no one's buying that Grabber. No one is buying that Grabber.
Not when this is coming out.
Well, no, but also it's not a Grabber. It has all of the amazing features of a Grabber. It doesn't have. They got the bridge wrong. They got the wrong pickup in there. It's in the wrong place. It doesn't move.
For that money, I think it's ridiculous, really. And I really
that
want to. I really want
£1,000. Yeah,
I really want one to try out, and B, because I don't know, I'm a sucker, I guess. But like, I want to see what it's like because it could be amazing, but it's got everything stacked against it, and it's just like they can't get anything right. Like,
yeah, I mean, I have very little faith in Gibson and Epiphone they just always seem to do something where it's like, why have you done that?
yeah,
This, however, so far so good. Looks great, seems pretty authentic. They didn't do the horrible 3-point bridge thing. It looks like they've done it right.
mm-hmm.
This potential, I mean, I've heard it live. Obviously, I've heard it live in a mix and everything, which is not quite the same, but it sounds great. It looks great. I love both colours, but the black silver burst is definitely the winner for me.
Yeah.
This is going to come down to price, because if it's silly money, if this is like £1,500 or more, I think a vast majority of the bass community who aren't hardcore G3 fans, as in like gagging for one, or super hardcore Green Day fans, everyone else is going to go, nah, not that bothered.
Yeah, I would buy one. I would potentially buy one, not for that price though, or like
No.
So if it was £900, I would have bought one if I didn't have my Hammerhead, because
Yeah.
my Hammerhead is essentially a silver burst G3 kind of thing.
Yeah, I was going to say this as a purchase for you is a little bit silly, because
Yeah.
you've just had a bass made. I bet you feel like a right numpty now.
Oh, what an idiot.
Send it back.
Yeah, God, undo it all. Yeah,
Straight on Facebook Marketplace, 200 quid. I'll buy
I think that cool. I think that yeah, and that's why I'm kind of interested in. I hope that the other grabber is good, because I'd love to have a grabber, but okay, it's not really a grabber. So
No,
anyway.
I want a G3 more than I want a grabber. Absolutely. I want this one to be good. Yeah, I want this one to be good. And I'm not saying it has to be 400 quid, because it's not going to be 400 quid. But I'd like it to just be reasonably priced for a Epiphone bass. Like, just reasonably priced, all I ask. Gibson, you're not a tiny independent company who's really scrambling for the money. You're Gibson. You sell loads of everything. Yeah, I was going to be really controversial, and I was going to be mad controversial then and go, people who know nothing about guitars aspire to buy your guitars.
So that's what you were going to say, was it?
That's what I chose to not say, and then hilariously, I've just said that on video.
Whoops!
And neither of us are going to take that out.
No.
So,
what's your Instagram bio? Instagram handle at that kind of bass.
At this time, I'd rather not say.
Go and
that doesn't work if you're not American, by the way. Yeah, I have high hopes. I just hope it's not like something stupid, like £1,500 or more, because I think that will just be a very silly move on
definitely
Gibson / Epiphone's end. But so far, so good.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the last little bit of news I've got. And this is one that hasn't been making headlines at all, but it's just one that I saw and I wanted to talk about. Because it's about a company that I have such mixed feelings about.
Ooh.
And that is Vola. Vola Guitars have just brought out a new, or I'm pretty sure it's new, because I check their website fairly regularly, new ZVA5 5-string version of their bass that they do. The 4-string is a PJ. It's in the case behind me, in the gloss red, candy apple red, sorry. And now they've brought it out in a 5-string with in this blue color and a sunburst with a rosewood fretboard. So yeah, it's minging. I'll say that. It's bloody horrible. Look at that. Ugh.
I admire the honesty. I'll be honest, the headstock in particular is really spoiling it for me.
Oh.
There's some elements of the body I can forgive. Like, there's that little weird horn at the back of the bass. I actually kind of like that.
Yeah, I like this.
The fact that the top horn and the bottom horn actually actually stick out the same amount, kind of.
Still kind of offset, but they're just too
But
thin.
only a little bit. Yeah, it seems like a jazz bass, has melted a little bit. If you know what I mean.
Like, look how fat the ass is on this bass.
Hell yeah.
And then little.
Yeah, but yeah, it doesn't. It's just and mate, the headstock. No,
Like,
I just can't.
here's the thing: the 4-string. I think it's grown on me a little bit.
I see where you're going as well, because you've got the problem with the 5-in-1, 4-in-1. Sorry, 4 and
No,
1.
the 4. Let me get the 4 up a minute. The 4, I feel like, isn't quite as. Oh, I mean, that's a better angle. If it was headless, that would look way better. Oh wait.
Headless would actually kind of look cool, you know.
Yeah. Let me first show you what's even worse, which is the sunburst one. Oh God. That looks cheap. I don't know.
Yeah, that kind of looks like your first like Wilkinson guitar you get. It looks like you get it in the Argos catalogue, kind of thing.
Weirdly,
that's genuinely quite unfortunate.
The 4-string headstock looks better because it's not as fat.
Yeah, and also the fact that there's no tuning peg on the bottom.
No,
kind of. Yeah, it just looks a bit more proportioned. Yeah.
Woof. Oh, this one's sold out. It's £930. So normally, for the blue one, it is just under £1,150. And I say I'm torn because obviously I've got one of these because it was gifted to me when I did the review of it, and it is unreal. It's such a good bass. It plays phenomenally well. The string through body with the look at this. Like, you got the 0 fret with this big string tree. That is for a 5-string as well. That is going to slap. That is going to play so well. They're made in Japan. Like, these things are awesome. One of the such a nice preamp, really usable, powerful, sounds great. Horrible to look at. and I've grown to the 4-string, the one that I've got, the red one, because I'm forcing myself to like it, because I'm like, it's so good, and you were given this, you have to like it.
You will learn to love it, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, and lovely people that run it, and everything about the company, great. And I cannot stress enough, excellent bass, fantastic, so good, and for that money, really amazing. But just ugly.
Yeah, that's your problem, isn't it? It's just it's just a bit ugly.
But look at this. The signature bass that they do for someone. I don't know why they don't do a production run of this, even though it's still a good price. But
who's Steve Tregear?
I don't know.
Tregear?
I don't know. But
have a Google.
Hang on.
Do you want me to have a Google? I'll have a Google.
Yes, you have a
leave
Google.
that open. I'll have a look now.
Because if they did a telly bass version of, I mean, it's like a telly. It's like a super Strat, but a super telly, you know. But if they did this as more of a production model that isn't a SIG, this is way cooler. Way cooler, in my opinion. So, yeah.
I mean, his Instagram's come up. He doesn't tell me what he does, though.
Oh, maybe it's just their mate. I don't know.
Let me go. Let me Google him instead. Steve.
So cool. Whilst you're doing that, I want to draw attention to what we were talking about, and that is the $ on the 12th fret.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is it $? Oh, no. It might be a logo, but it looks like a $. Stands for Steve. Oh, it is. It's an ST. Okay. But
yeah, when it comes up, it says he's the bassist and manager of the French metal band. I don't know how to pronounce it, so I'm just not going to.
Oui.
And not that. And another band called the Dali Thundering Concept. It's a cool name.
Yeah.
Apart from that, There isn't a great deal about him, to be honest. I'm just looking at. I'm just looking. He did an article a year ago in Guitar World, where he was. Basically, it was a article about this bass. This bass has a kill switch.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
and it's got a on-off button. I wonder what the button was for. It's for on and off for the active passive.
Yeah. Basically, it's like a progressive metal bassist. 24 medium jumbo stainless steel frets and a 35-inch scale. Cool. Ash body, roasted maple neck. So far, so good. I mean, this is band EQ, and then this sort of kill switch thing. In short, Steve, I'm sure you're dead nice. I just got no idea who you are.
Yeah, and
the bass looks nice though. We'll give you that.
Yeah, this isn't new, but like this slaps. I think that is very cool.
That is without a doubt the coolest bass they make, and the headstock actually looks all right as well.
Yeah, it suits it. Whereas the other one, they need to go back to the drawing board with that. Anyway, but again, I want to stress, I'm gonna do a swear.
He's gonna do a swear.
Ears,
here we go.
Children. They're really, really good. Fuck! Like that. That's how I wanted to say it.
Sorry, all I heard then was they're really, really good. Fuck. Was there another bit at the end of that sentence?
No.
Cut out?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Right, okay.
That was it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I was going to say they're
Fair
really
enough.
fucking good, but I decided not to go the predictable route.
I'm going to suggest we move on because I will start to get cross with just how ugly this bass is. So I'd like to move on.
Let's do exactly that. Right, as promised, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. We are going to be ranking some bass brands now, bass amp brands, and we've got a bit of a lineup. There might be some missing from here, and we'll have a chat about that as we go.
Ampeg.
Oh my god! No.
We forgot about Ampeg.
I think all the biggies are on here.
Okay.
But there might be some that we come across that are like, bugger, they're not here. So yeah, we will get to that. Anyway, some of these we're not going to have tried. Some of these we're going to have very little opinions on. But we haven't tried everything at the end of the day. So some of them might just get a meh, or we've heard them before and we've thought, they're okay. So yeah, we'll go from there. Do you want me to read out the amps, or should we just go for it?
I think we just go for it, and we'll go from there.
Nice. We'll see them on screen. Right. Now. Oh, by the way, if you're listening to this, you should absolutely go and subscribe to us on YouTube, where you can watch this for yourself as well.
Yeah, I feel like now is a really, really good time to go visual for this episode.
Yes. And of course, if you want to get involved and catch up with the boys, you can go and follow us on Instagram at In The Pocket Pod as well. Duh, do it. Everyone else is. Right. Here we go. Here are our amp brands at the bottom. We're using the tier maker again to rank our best bass brands. Now, Chris, I want to know how are you going to be ranking these? What are you taking into consideration? Are you using price, weight, just sound, look, or is it just an overall thought?
I think it's going to have to be a bit of everything. Because I think the visual element of what something looks like especially an amp, is actually important, I think. Value for money, the overall sound, what it looks like, the brand as a whole in terms of the reputation of the company. I think everything really plays a factor into
that is very true.
Into the ranking process. I think we should just get stuck in and let's
go, baby. Right, kicking things off. I'm going to move even closer. Gosh, I'm stuck. Oh, there we go. Oh, I just ripped my trousers.
You know what? You're going to laugh at this. Where have you ripped your trousers?
right on the crotch.
Because I did about 10 minutes ago. Genuinely. I'm not kidding. I've split them at the seam.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is fantastic.
And I didn't even do anything. I just felt them go.
Oh, there's that.
This is really annoying because I only own one pair of jeans, so I'm now jeansless.
Oh no.
And I bought some Dickies, but they're basically like a high-waisted, longer trouser style, and they look great. Don't get me wrong, but I didn't want that when I bought them, so now I'm gonna have to try and find some more. Anywho, so it's good to know we've both had an incident.
Yeah, we're both wangs out for this one.
Absolutely. If you'd like to see our split trousers, make sure you head over to our YouTube channel.
Right, let's.
Anyway,
right, would PV rip your trousers?
No, not even close.
So where would you rank PV then? I mean, PV. I've had a couple of interactions with them. Their basses, never had a good experience, but their amps. I actually played one at our band practice the other day. It's like the stock amp in our practice rooms, and I was like fully ready to be like, oh god, this is the worst amp I've ever heard, and it was brilliant. It was so good. This old PV amp.
I do think they fly under the radar as in terms of the quality of what you get. Like I've only ever really played them in practice rooms, and I've never gone, oh god, this is awful. But I actually think that does them dirty. I actually think that does them a disservice, and I think they should lose marks for that. Because if you make a good product, but you advertise it terribly, and no one knows it's a good product, I think you deserve to lose marks.
Thing is, I think time is not on their side here, because they're not in the modern market. They don't think they even make bass amps anymore, do they?
Do they not? Okay.
No,
I wouldn't.
It's very much very
genuinely
old
wouldn't know, because
amps.
everything I've played by them is quite old. So I don't think they deserve to be ranked highly, but I don't have a problem with them. Do you think it's like C tier or B?
Oof,
it can't be higher than B.
It can't be B. I mean, I was going to say C. For me, they don't do enough. And what I've tried is good, but they don't do a diverse range. Like that was just a combo, you know. That's not diverse enough.
Yeah, I think C tier is very fair for good old PV.
Okay,
however,
cool. We've got some big hitters here.
We have got some big hitters. We've got a few that I think we've got quite a few that are going to end up in the S tier as well. I think.
Should we move these around a little bit?
Do you want to move the order around?
Yeah, I'm just going to change the order.
Can you put some of we got some really big ones at the start. Maybe we put a couple near the end.
Yeah. Let's do this.
Like that's there. Ampeg further down. I don't even recognise the names of some of the ones at the end.
Well, yeah. There's only one or two that I'm like, huh? About. So we'll get to that.
Okay.
I think that's a good order. Okay, next up, Fender Bender. So I've owned a full Rumble rig, and it was great. Just got a bit bored of it in the end. It's kind of not wanting something else in the end. I absolutely love the Bassman, the Super Bassman amps, the Valve ones. I would love one of those one day. I would be tempted to put these in the A tier, honestly.
I was going to say the A tier, minimum A tier, but I don't think S.
No, I don't think S, because they don't. I've played the Bassman a couple of times, never in a context where it's like all my own stuff. It's only ever been at Fender.
Yeah, and I don't think there's enough. I don't think there's enough innovation to put them at the top in the S tier. The Rumble range is amazing.
Fantastic.
Absolutely. If I go to a practice space, or if you're very lucky, a lot of like bars, like for like bar gigs, if they have a house amp, if it's not the Boss bass katana, it's usually like a Fender Rumble, or one of the smaller ones, and they just take a DI out for the PA, and that's kind of doing all the work. And I'm always happy. I'm always happy when I see a Fender Rumble. I'm never like, oh God, it's a Fender Rumble. And yeah, the Bassman and the Super Bassman are elite tier valve amps. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think A tier through and through, no problems at all.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Right. Yeah, I just agree with everything you said, basically. Speaking of Mike Dern,
good.
he actually helped redesign the new Bassman head as well.
Correct.
Pretty cool. Next one is kind of an underrated one, or sorry, rated, but maybe not that well known about, is Barefaced. More specifically known for their cabs, though, I would say. Barefaced.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I know quite a bit about the cabs because I was actually considering buying one for quite a while. And I actually use a Barefaced. I used to use a Barefaced cab capture in the Quad Cortex for quite a while.
Oh, really?
And I really enjoyed
Nice.
it. Yeah, it was like it was like a 410 or something, and it sounded really good.
Sorry, I was just looking around because I've actually got. Oh, it's here. Hang on. I've actually got a pedal by Barefaced right here. I forgot they do pedals. Yeah,
you have got that. I thought you'd sold that.
No, I bought it off Matt Parker.
Bought it. You bought it off podcast alumni 2 times over, Mr. Controversial, Matt Parker himself.
Yes, and they're excellent products. I've never played one. I would love to, because everyone says they're amazing and they really fill the sound up in a room. Like any volume you're at as well, it just sounds really, really good.
Yeah, I've heard good things too. But the problem is, I don't think I can put it higher than B. The reason being is the cabs alone get them into the B tier, no question. Yep. Cabs are amazing, but I have zero knowledge, genuinely no knowledge of their amps. So for that reason, I can't put them any higher. I'm really sorry if you're listening Barefaced, or if you're listening at home and you've got a Barefaced amp and you're screaming at your speaker right now and saying, "Chris, you don't understand, you stupid Northerner." I'd be inclined to agree with you, but I'm sorry, you don't have a podcast. I do, and this is where my knowledge ends. So I'm just going to put them in B.
Yeah,
well, I think that's for me.
I was just double checking their website, and it's only cabs that they do.
So they don't do heads?
No. I was like, I've never seen one before. They don't do them. So.
Well, that would explain it then, wouldn't it?
It makes a lot of sense.
Well, they don't do amps, so should we just leave them in B? Because the cabs are amazing.
Yeah, B for Barefaced.
Come on. Listen, this is a very simple, and I'm going to use this analogy later on with another amp. If Tim Comerford from Rage Against the Machine has one, it's good, okay?
Does he?
It's good. Tim Comerford has a Barefaced cab. Yes.
I did not know that. That's cool. Wow.
Next
up, okay. We have got, now this is one of the, not obscure, but one of the premium ones that I'm not familiar with, because I can't even remember how to pronounce them.
Is this the bougie one? These are pretty bougie, if I remember.
Yes, they are. It is.
Is this... And Scott Divine's got one of these, hasn't he?
Ooh, I think so. He's
also got.
Hang on, I'm going to Google it so I can pronounce it correctly.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. It's Bergantino. So that's Berganat. Oh, God, people are screaming at us right now.
The Italian.
Yes.
Okay, well, don't do the accent, because
no,
I don't know whether that's cancelable or not.
We won't do that.
But
Bergantino.
Bergantino. We'll call it Bergantino.
It doesn't sound very graceful, does it? Bergantino.
Yeah, Bergantino. I know diddly squat about this one, Johnny. Literally.
Yeah.
I know little, apart from the fact that I'm pretty sure I've seen one on the SPL YouTube channel. That is literally it. I know nothing.
Yeah, they do a preamp pedal as well. From memory, They are very clean, very like tight, pristine, glassy sounding. Almost.
That's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing at all.
Good pedal platform, nice and clean, lots of headroom.
Yeah, I would be tempted to put these in B for now. Where
you know what? Let's just put them in B because I've got the impression they're very good and they're probably better than PV. But I know so little about them. So, and I don't want to do them a disservice because I think they're meant to be quite good.
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, absolutely. And that's not to say that, and we will get people commenting saying, "Oh my God, like how could you not know them, or how can you rank them lower?" But like, this is an opinion, mate. Yeah. Look at yourself. It's an opinion.
It's just my opinion, man.
So think about that, will you? But yeah, not sure about that one. Don't really have any experience with them firsthand, so they're going down the list. Next one, Eden. So, Eden are so nice, I think. They are a bit like a Burgentino in the fact that they are very crisp and clean, but they're super punchy and loud. I owned a very small Eden head, little 500 watt, teeny tiny head. And I paired that with the Eden XLT 410, which is their like higher range cabs. Okay. Absolutely the best, most responsive cab I've ever owned. Unbelievably good cab. Sounded so nice. But oh my God, so heavy. It weighed more. It was a 410. It weighed more than my Ampeg SVT 6x10 that I had.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Yeah. It was ridiculous. So yeah. For me, in terms of sound, my experience with them, I would put them in the A tier.
Ooh.
I think that they are top notch, sound great. Do you have any experience with these, or have you heard them?
No, I've never heard one. I know the name. I've seen what the cabs look like, but I've never. I had no experience again on this one. So I'm just going to take your lead. If you think it's an A tier, I am happy to follow your lead on that.
You can take my lead. Nice. Okay,
I will.
We'll put them in the A. If we want to move them down later, we can do.
Okay.
Next one. I definitely had experience with these.
Now we're talking.
Now we're talking. Orange. Orange British-made bass amps. I think they're great. They do the AD200, which they've just redone, actually. It nearly made the news today because they've just brought out a new version of it, slightly bit more of a facelift. That's their full valve 200 watt bass amp that is insane sounding. Very, very nice amp. And they've also just redone the Bass Terror, I believe. And I think they've got the Obi-Wan at the minute on there.
Kenobi.
Yeah. They've got I'm just going to remind myself what they've got. But yeah, Orange are quite on the more expensive side sometimes, but still they're not like inaccessible, and yeah, I think they're fantastic. I used to own Bass Terror myself, and it was great. It's great. What about your experience with Orange?
I've never heard an Orange bass amp and liked it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know why. I might have just tried the wrong ones. I'm not sure. Just whenever I've tried one, I've felt it starts to distort like too easily, like too quickly. It's too keen to start breaking up. And for me, it's been a bit like this is great, but can I be in charge of when we introduce this? If that makes sense. It's almost like it's sat there going, can I tear your head off? Can I tear your head off? Can I tear your head off? It's like, yes, you can, but can we just... Nicely. Can I get the option of, a bit of clean first? But that could just be me. I could just have been trying the wrong thing at the wrong time. But you're going to learn very quickly, Johnny. Not really an amp guy.
Well, no, I'm not either. My interest
I've
goes.
literally like I've literally used modelers my entire professional career.
Yeah. My interest
With the
goes.
exception of a dark glass head, who aren't on this list.
They are on this list. They're later on.
They were.
Yeah. Third from the end, just very small logo.
Oh, can't see the logo. Okay, fair enough. I'll have more opinions when dark glass show up.
Nice. I'll move them up the list.
No, you don't need to. It's okay. We got lots of things. We'll leave it there.
Okay. They what was I going to say? Orange for me. Yeah, I do agree. I've not played one and been like, oh my god, incredible.
Yeah.
But I have heard amazing tones from them. So yeah, I'm torn with this one. What do you think about putting them in the B tier?
I'm happy to put them in B tier because I don't think they're as good as Fender. And I absolutely think Fender should be in A tier. Yeah. And I'll be measuring everything in the S tier and the B tier against Fender.
Okay.
So for me, definitely better than PV. Then again, I've never had a disappointing experience playing for a PV amp, but I do think the orange stuff is better. That being said, I was stood next to an 8x10 orange cab when I got to see Beartooth side stage at Slam Dunk a few years ago because I was working the festival, and I didn't think the cabs were on. And then I saw them live side stage, and I can confirm it's all on. It's all very, 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 very loud. So, and that thing sounded amazing. So, yeah. I think B tier is fair. We'll put them in B tier.
All right. Next one is EBS, Swedish made brand. My first introduction to EBS was Tom Doyle from Don Broco. Was big. He was EBS. Then he moved to Eden actually amps. He was a big EBS guy. Had the EBS Fafner, which is like their like full valve thing. That with his Spectre bass, just so good. That sound from Don Broco is that amp. Like it sounds incredible.
Are we talking automatic?
Yes.
Second album.
Yes.
Yeah, that bass tone is. It's not my favorite Don Broco album, but good lord, the bass sounds amazing.
Listen to You Wanna Know and Super Love. Like,
yeah,
the tone on that sounds incredible, and it's that kind of sound that like I associate with these. Really, really massive. The Riedmar, is it called, or Riedmar stuff? Their Class D solid state stuff is really nice as well. I nearly bought one of those back in the day, and they're like good value for money. EBS for me, I really rate them as a brand, and I kind of wanted to put them in A. Not gonna lie, but do I compare them with Fender?
You know what? For the same reason, I wouldn't put Fender in S tier is the reason why I actually think we should bump EBS up to the A tier. Innovation. Yeah. I think EBS have got some great amps. They've got some fantastic preamps. They've got great pedals. Yeah. I think they're a great company. I don't think they make a bad product. I think everything is quite reasonably priced for what you get. Yeah. And I definitely, if someone said to me, Chris, you're doing a festival tomorrow, we can get you anything, but it's got to be stuff we've already rated, as in, Fender, Eden, EBS, etc., etc. I think I would actually go with either a Super Bassman or something by EBS, to be honest. So I think A tier, very well deserved in my opinion.
Fantastic. It's strange, isn't it? Because EBS is kind of a safer bet than Fender sometimes, like in terms of tone.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just because it's naturally cleaner and more pristine, I think. But that's not always what you want. But yeah, I agree. Especially with the pedals, I always recommend. Like people ask me quite a lot, like, "Oh, I want to get my first compressor. What can I get?" I always recommend the EBS Multicomp. Really nice compressor that's just two knobs. It's like gain and compression.
and it's so good. Yeah,
it's so good. Amazing pedal. Really great. So let's move on to our next company, Ike. EICH, pronounced Ike. I have zero experience with Ike.
and I have even less.
No, I couldn't tell you what makes them stand out. I know nothing.
My only comment is I'm pretty sure I saw a video, I think I saw an Instagram reel recently of someone playing through one, and my first thought was, wow, that's a really ugly and complicated looking head.
Yes.
Yeah, and it did nothing for me. So I got to be honest with you, I think this is C tier.
C.
Yeah, because I bet it's not bad.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry. I was
sure
thinking we had an E tier then. Yes, I agree.
No, I think C, because I don't want to do them dirty, because I think D tier needs to be reserved for something that is crap.
Yeah.
And they're not crap. They're just not. I just don't like the look of them, and I'm not particularly. I have very little opinion of them, so I think C, fine. Moving on.
Yeah, agreed.
It's not BC Rich until BC Rich make a bass amp.
Oh dear. Right, on to the next one. What is the next one? Well, yeah, you were saying about shit and the D tier. I think we might have one right here.
I think this is our first hitter for D tier.
Imagine that. God, we'd set the internet on fire.
Kind of want to now.
For
those of you listening, we are referring to Ampeg.
Ampeg. For me, they've got to go S tier.
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I'll just start off by saying I don't fully disagree with you, but I'd like to know why you think that's S tier when we've sort of told off Fender for not being innovative enough.
I mean the new, well, because I think they're more innovative in terms of amps, all that stuff than Fender, because we've got the new preamp that I think is better than people give it credit for.
Okay.
And the new Venture series with the B15 built in as well. Like, those are fantastic amps that have done amazing in the industry. Like, they're popping up all over, people getting those. It's amazing sounding. They're kind of becoming the industry standard over some other amps that we'll see later on. I think
Ampeg have been the industry standard for
donkeys. In terms of because what festival stage are you not seeing an Ampeg 8x10? And I think their cabs are immaculate. I do love an Ampeg cab. I use an Ampeg cab on pretty much everything that I've got. Every demo I use has got the Ampeg SVT, and it's always the best sounding, in my opinion. So yeah, for me, they just creep over that cream of the crop. In terms of amps, I will say the SVT is not my favorite amp.
No, I would say I'm not in love with the SVT. It does not sound good pushed. You've got to do, obviously, to a real one. It's different for me and you because we play in the digital world quite a lot. But if you got a real SVT and actually managed to get it loud enough to start distorting itself, it's not a good sound, in my opinion. It's too.
No, I agree.
It's too farty. It's not got that definition. But the stereotypical SVT tone is an industry standard for contemporary bass, and the B15 is obviously is the B15. Like, what are you going to do? So, originally I wanted to be controversial and say let's leave it in the A tier, but I can't really think of a sensible reason apart from me being a child. So, I think it's kind of got to go in the S tier. I'm also looking at the things that are going to come up later, and there are other things that might pop into the S tier as well, but there's nothing I see on that list that I could put in the S tier and still leave Ampeg in the A tier.
Yeah,
because it's Ampeg.
And I know, and I'm the same. I didn't want to be like, oh yeah, well, Ampeg obviously it's amazing, but it is good. They are good.
There's a reason why it's if someone's if someone, obviously, when I would propose this scenario, we hadn't put Ampeg on the list, but if someone had said to me, big festival, you're doing Reading and Leeds or whatever, or Download or whatever, you're getting a head and an 810. What do you want? I'd be like, just give me an SVT. Give me an SVT and an 810.
Yeah,
that'll be. And then what SVT you have is then a different. Do you have the Heritage? Do you have the SVT Pro? Those kind of things. Those are a little bit different, but the SVT is the SVT. I use an SVT in the Quad Cortex, as does almost everyone I know who gigs the Quad Cortex.
Because it's the standard.
Yeah, if they're not using a capture of something they already own and they really like, and they just want something generic, they are using an SVT or a Sans amp.
Yeah.
But then they're using a capture of the Sans amp, because the digital Sans amp inside the Quad Cortex is unusable. It is terrible.
It's funny. For a very simple pedal.
Yeah, I'll argue that point with everyone. Get them on the phone right now. The SVT DI inside the Quad Cortex is rubbish. Absolute rubbish. But
do you mean the Sans amp?
That one. Not the SVT DI. That's really good. Yes, Ampeg. Yeah, stick him in S tier. Makes sense.
All right.
Moving on. I can't even see what this logo says.
This is Gens Benz or Gen. I think it's Gens Benz.
Oh no.
I have no experience with these. I've heard they're good.
C.
Yeah.
It's gonna have to be C again, because we just don't know. And
they're not bad. Like I struggle to think that any of these would be in D. Well, we'll get to D, actually.
We'll get to that, and I'll let you bring that up when you can. But I'm looking at them all quickly and kind of thinking there's nothing here that makes me jump out. But I could be wrong. What is next?
Well, that's what I've been trying to work out.
I don't know what this is.
I think it's Glockenklang. Glockenklang. I think it is.
Why have you put so many bass amps in that we don't know?
I didn't make this.
What?
I think it's them. Although their logo looks different. I recognise it, and I've seen amps with it. It's like a silver amp that's got that on it. I don't know, Johnny. It's somewhere. I've seen it somewhere. Can I tell you what? I'm going to move this to later on in the list, because I want to know what it is.
Okay, we'll come back to it.
I'm going to try and look it up.
The good news is we're actually familiar with the next few amps. So
absolutely, right. I think most of them, and I've actually had experience with most of them as well.
Yeah, I actually know some of these. So right,
Heartkey. Real mixed bag with Heartkey, in my opinion. I think I've heard some amazing sounding things online, and I've owned a cab of theirs. And you've currently got a cab of theirs, haven't you?
No, I have a Laney cab.
Laney.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yes. But I actually bought a Heartkey head last year, just to try. It was a cheap one.
I remember.
I was like, I'll give it a go. I sent it back. Didn't love it.
Right.
And they do have good sounding stuff, but nothing that's ever blown me away. I would be tempted to put these in B.
Me too. I've had a chance to play a few. I've been on a gig where I've been playing guitar, and the bass player has brought a Heartkey combo, and I was quite impressed with their bass sound. They've been in a few practice rooms, and I've actually thought they've sounded okay.
They are very practice room energy.
Few people from a few really big bands play Heartkey amps. Yeah, no complaints, but I'm not in love with them. So I think B is fair. Absolutely.
That's what I say to people when they ask me what I think of you.
Yeah, it's fair. I would be inclined to agree.
B
for Chris. Yeah.
B for Chris. Lovely.
Yeah.
There we go. Right. Next one. Biggie. They actually got mentioned last week because we currently both own amps made by this company and have relations with this company. Not that's going to colour our list here, but Ashdown, British amp company, that famous VU meter on the front, producer of the ABM amps and more. You and I currently have the Rootmaster, or the new version of the Rootmaster. And yeah, all round, I would say one thing that's interesting in terms of Ashdown, I went through a phase, like my first actual head was an Ashdown, and because it blew me away so much.
That's the case for a lot of people. Yeah,
yeah, because they're quite accessible in terms of price. I think they do a lot over the price range. I had an ABM 500 Evo 3, it was, and it was cool. I never learned to use it properly though. I was a bit young to have that, I think, at the time. I didn't really know what I was doing, and so I was like, I can't get the sound out of it. I'm going to sell it.
Okay, yeah, but that's more of like a user error kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I will say I've not had a sound out of one of those amps, and I haven't tried mine live properly yet, my new one. I haven't had a sound that I've been like, oh my God, wow, like insane tone. For me, where they work the most is in terms of flexibility and innovation. I think they've got even the subharmonics thing that is on all their amps is like something interesting that none of these other amps do, that I'm aware of. And that's just like something that they've blended into their signature sound.
For sure.
So that's quite cool. Even to things like, we've got, all sorts of pedals and things and basses now coming out from Ashdown, which are all very, very good. But we've also got features like, cab synth being put onto the Rootmaster 500, the new ones that you and I have. Great feature. Amazing. And it's things like that, little innovations that I think push them right up to the higher ends of this list. For me, I mean, before I say my ranking, what are your opinions?
I agree with everything you've just said, in short. There's no point in me just repeating everything you've just said, but in short, yeah, I think you bang on with all your comments. My sort of, I can't decide whether to put them in S or A because, and genuinely, the only reason why I don't want to put them in S is I don't want people to think I'm being biased because we've got a nice working relationship with Ashdown. They've been very nice to me and you. They're lovely people. We've been to the factory and met everyone there. They're all super nice. But I can't. I'm trying to think of a reason to kind of fault them, really, and I can't massively fault them. I mean, I don't love the plugin. I'll be honest. I've sat with the plugin. I don't love it, but I don't dislike it. I just I just own other bass plugins that I ultimately prefer and lean towards.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily a reason to bring them down.
No, because I really do think that's a personal preference thing. But why would you not put them in the S tier? Tell me, have you got a reason? Because I think the budget stuff's good. The mid-range stuff's good, especially now the new Rootmaster has come out. That's really good. I
think I've not had my mind blown by one of their amps before. I tell a lie. The first time I played one, I did.
But actually, no, that's a lie, because yes, you have. Because when we went to try the Rootmaster for the first time, and we were sat in Ashdown, we were both sat there going, oh my God, this sounds amazing.
It did sound great.
And it did sound really good.
But do I rank them higher than some of the other ones on this list?
I get what you mean. I get what you mean about like not having your mind blown, but I almost don't think they have to. I think it's almost like Ashdown. It just works.
And that's an interesting thing.
It just works. Like you set it all up, you can leave. I mean, I've the last couple of wedding gigs I've done, I've left it all at noon. And then I've clicked the shape button, and I've been like, for a wedding, for a working bass tone, it's more than fine. For the thing I'm working on at the moment that I don't want to spill the beans on quite yet, I think I'd like to push a bit more mid range into the sound, just to have a bit more not necessarily presence, but be a bit more noticeable in the mix. But everything else, you just set it up, you leave everything at noon, you click it, and you go, well, that will do very nicely, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And there are things on this list that when you put them all at 12 o'clock, they don't sound that good. Or they don't sound as good as Ashdown do.
Yes. And
so
that is such a big sign of a high-quality product.
It just all works. And also, we haven't said much about design too much. They have some good-looking amps. Like, I think Ashdown amps look amazing. The SVT looks amazing. The Bassman looks amazing. Harky amps look like Harky amps. Why aren't we putting S.5 maybe? I don't know. That's
higher than S.
Sorry, A.5. I don't know. I'm not like. I think that looks okay.
Let's put them up in S. I don't disagree with what you said. I think for me, it's that the tone that I'm not in a wedding band, and the tones that I'm often going for. Although I'm in a Foo Fighters band, which is traditionally very Ashdown, the tones I'm often going for are more modern.
This is very true. This is very true. Like the Ashdown, I always describe them as like, for me, it's like big, warm, fat, nice and rounded. It's not going to give you like, you're not going to get it to sound. It's not going to sound like a dark glass amp anytime soon. Unless you absolutely gunned the treble and everything, which I think you could get there, but you'd have to think about it. It's not just going to give you progressive metal immediately.
But it's interesting to compare them to dark glass, actually, which is weird.
I was just trying to think of the exact opposite, but
no, because it rolls on nicely to a point I was going to make. Because when I was like putting things at 12 o'clock noon, that is a good sign of a good amp. Like, great. Now I can just tweak as I like.
I don't want to sit there going, oh, this amp is good, but you've got to remember, you've got to really boost the low mids. Otherwise, it's just not there. Like, I don't want that. I want noon should be kind of like that will do very nicely. But what do I want right now to kind of just seal the deal a little bit more?
The dark glass stuff, I found that like the combo I've just reviewed, like you can get some good sounds out of it, but you have to back off. You have to boost the bass massively and back off that treble.
Really?
Like you have to have some extreme EQing to get it right, and that doesn't sit well with me. Very like.
Well, I think it
doesn't give you much room.
I think the fact that Ashdown just works. Like you get it all set up, you stick it all at noon, and you can gig that sound fine. The rest is an extra 10% to suit you. I think it deserves to be in the S tier just for the fact that it just works. And it will work on super heavy metal gigs. You just might sit there and go, actually, you know what, maybe I do want a little bit more upper mid-range. But you can just turn one dial and you're good to go.
Yeah. Okay, I am happy with S. It sounds like I'm being negative about them, but
we both love them. We wouldn't want anything to do with them or play the equipment if we didn't like them.
No,
like
exactly.
And we've just been talking about the amps. Like I absolutely bloody love the triple shot. I think it's an amazing pedal.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
The Pro DI is amazing. Like, yeah, I can't complain really. The filter stuff's good. It's good. It's good stuff.
Good stuff.
Moving on.
Aguilar.
Aguilar.
I would argue, like a lot of people seem to be moving from Aguilar to Ampeg with the new Venture range, because like the tone hammer from Aguilar was such a big. Well, it still is a really high selling unit, but like this was like the. Almost an industry standard of professional bass players where they'd have their Aguilar setup. You know what kind of bass player you're getting if they turn up with an Aguilar setup.
Yes, you would. And
they're very solid, flat sounding amps. And that's why I kind of don't like them.
Yeah, I don't get excited when I hear an Aguilar amp. It just kind of it's Aguilar. It just works, but it's not.
S
there's
tier.
no, yeah, there's not. No, for me, I can't. I don't know whether to go B or A, to be honest, because I don't even like this. I don't particularly like the sound of like the distortions they do. Like they do that. The aggro.
Oh, the aggro's bad.
And I don't like
I
the
had an aggro.
I don't like the aggro. I don't like it at all. I think it
I
sounds like
bought it.
a really bad rat.
I bought it because I was like, oh, that sounds quite good in demos. Rubbish. I thought it
Yeah.
was crap. So yeah, for me, I would put them in B. The saving grace for them,
just fine. Yeah,
I think the the AG
The new
series
ones.
of amps. No.
Oh,
They've just given them a facelift as well as the tone hammer. But the tone hammer is kind of like the one everyone thinks of, but the AG is actually the slightly more expensive one. But that is a nicer amp in my opinion. It's got the like ultra high, ultra low thing that Ampeg does, and it's more scoopy, bigger sounding, I think, or more tubey sounding. So that amp, is very nice. But for the rest of the stuff and for what Aguilar's known for, I would say B.
I would be inclined to agree. Actually, I think B is just fine for them.
Just fine. Okie dokie. Roland, bit of a rogue one now.
I know it is a bit of a rogue one, actually.
So I've actually
go first.
I've only got one experience with Roland, and that is in school.
Yeah.
The Roland Cube.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Hell no. Just bad. It was bad. In school, it was like, oh, not the Roland. Oh, but it was the only thing above like 30 watts that we had.
Yeah, I don't want to spend too long on Roland. Like Roland is also Boss, and like the Boss bass guitar on it is really good. Like, but it's no better than the Fender Rumble. But I can't put them with Fender because just overall,
Okay.
this is tricky for me because if we're talking about like Roland and stuff, if we're talking about amps, I'm not really that bothered about it at all, to be honest. But when we throw the pedals in, they've got to come flying up the list. But we're talking about amps.
We're talking about
not
amps
pedals.
today.
So
No.
I think C.
C. Yeah, for me it's
C.
D or C to me.
I don't think it deserves to be in D. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong, the Roland Cube, but it's marketed. It's marketed for people who are starting out and stuff like that. So you can't compare it. You can't judge it with the ears we have as grown-ups who've played around with all this expensive stuff. So I think, tell me about it. C, I think.
Okay. Next one. Okay, next we have Laney. You said earlier you have a Laney cab. I have owned a full Laney rig.
You have.
Before. All in all, good amps, I think. The dig has been certainly something that has pushed them up the rankings in everyone's view as bass players. I think everyone's gone, oh shit, these are great. Like, this is cool, and people are using them on big stages and stuff. For me, though, I had that, and it sounded good. It did take a lot of tweaking to get sounding good, though.
I do think you've got to get in there and really start, because they've got that tilt control, which is really cool, and that will do a lot to your tone, but you have to mess with it to kind of find where you want it to sit. It is not a 12 o'clock amp, I don't think, at all.
What's cool about that amp is that you have a vintage and like a modern drive section. You pull the knobs out to like engage them, and you can like blend them in together, which is nice. My controversial, I suppose almost controversial opinion, the tilt, useless. I cannot understand why you would want to boost the highs, reduce the lows, and vice versa. Like,
yeah, it's not
for me. I want to adjust one, and like I always was like, oh, that's a cool feature. Oh yeah, that sounds good. I'll play with that. Never used it because I was like,
no.
Oh yeah, this sounds good. Boost and treble. Oh, I've gone. Like, the bass is gone. Like,
yeah.
I think
we both know where this is going.
It's for me, it's gonna have to be B. I think
I'm gonna agree with you on B as well.
Like, they're good. I'm going to rant. The other thing that annoyed me about that amp, and I've known other people that have sold them for the same reason, is that they have a built-in noise gate into the cab. So what it does is that when you're playing, it reduces some noise. But what it does is produces a noise, a very small noise. If you're playing at lower volume, it produces a noise. And I contacted Laney and said, I think it's faulty. Like, there's this noise coming through. They're like, oh no, that's the noise gate. So that little noise comes through, but when you're at loud volumes, you can't tell, and it's the noise gate. Get rid of it.
Well, that still seems to be a bit silly.
It annoyed me so much, like, because the volumes I was sometimes playing, I could hear it, and I was like, this is, or like if I was like practicing with it or something, I was like, this is pissing me off. And because it's a tweaking amp, I'd set in my garage and tweak with it, but then I'm not blasting it loud enough for that. So, and as a studio amp, that's kind of useless. Like, I don't know, that was annoying.
I think that says it all, really. I think it's going to have to be at best for Laney.
Yeah, I think so. I like what they're trying to do, but meh. Okay. Next up is Mark Bass. Italian brand again.
I did not know that.
Yes. They've just started bringing out basses as well, which is quite cool. I've got a couple of pedals. Their amps, I haven't had a single, I wouldn't say I've had a bad experience with any of their amps, to be honest. They've always sounded very good, like very much good for slap, that kind of scoopy sound, tubey, warm, all these adjectives that we use for amps. Yeah, I think they're good. They don't excite me, and I think some of their amps look a little bit complicated. Like too many knobs and like different size knobs, and I'm like, oh, what's going on with this? I like the color schemes, but yeah, I can't say that they really tempt me that much. To be honest, it's not my sound anymore. One of those. It was once upon a time.
They're just not cool. I just don't think they're cool. That's the most sort of like basic way I can describe it. I just don't think they're very cool.
And that's how we should be ranking these, really.
Absolutely. Cool. I think they're a pretty dorky amp, to be honest. I really don't. Every time I've just seen one, I've gone, okay, Mark Bass, cool, nerd. Get an SVT. Like it doesn't fit in your backpack.
I actually know what I'm doing because I've got Mark on my side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Okay. This is a tricky one to rank, really, because I think we might. Well, what do you think?
Everything in B is cooler than Mark Bass.
Yeah.
So I think they should go in C. Because I just think I'm really not excited every time I see Mark Bass. I think nerd.
I'm happy with
not
that.
Interested.
I'm happy with that. I would apply the same thinking to this brand.
To Barefaced?
No, Burgentino.
Yeah, go on then. Yeah.
Let's move them to C as well then, because I think that is sound thinking. As insane as it sounds, I think that is sound.
Yeah. I could absolutely rip through the rest of this list really fast.
Yeah, let's do it.
There's some easy decisions. Are you ready?
No.
No. Go on.
But no, I go. For me, this one,
yep,
straight into the S.
Ooh, I was going to go straight into A. GK, unreal, love GK, but they don't. I don't sound great. I don't think they're as innovative as Ampeg and Ashdown, though. But they sound amazing, and they do just work. Oh,
for me, they are. I would put them in.
No, I can take it back. I take it back. Justin Chancellor's got one. It's got to go in S.
Yeah, for me, they are one of my favorite bass amp brands. Like, they just the best. One of the best live sounds I've had is through a GK, and I was like,
yeah. Now I'm gonna do almost like boy math now.
Yep.
Mesa Boogie has to go in S for me
I knew that
because I
was going to come.
just think the 400 plus is the coolest amp ever.
Yeah,
Like it's massive and it's so heavy.
I knew two things about this list when we said we're going to do it. I was like, well, GK and Mesa are going to be in the S tier.
I would if money was no object and I'm not carrying it or anything like that, I would love a 400 plus. I love them so much. I think they're so cool. Practically terrible idea, but I think they are mint.
They are. I played I think it was a Subway one. Their Class D
they're
one.
great too. Yeah, the Subway,
They are so good, and the cabs are incredible.
But
as well.
I love like Boogie guitar amps and everything. Like Mesa Boogie is like the one for me. So yeah, this is easy. This is less easy. But I do have like a fast and hot opinion of Trace Elliott.
Go for it.
They are like the granddad of Ashdown.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get Ashdown without Trace Elliott, and I think Ashdown is amazing. But I don't think Trace Elliott are really kind of like that relevant or that kind of like impressive anymore. They did cool things, but they kind of just fell to the wayside. But the heritage alone needs to keep them higher up. So I kind of think it's like a B, maybe.
Yeah, they don't excite me at all.
Green as well. That's quite cool.
They don't excite me. I'll be honest.
I don't love them. I don't love them.
I've played a few in the past, and it was like that very kind of they're
quite complicated as well.
Mids,
though, like they're not. I played a bar gig once, and the house amp was a big Trace Elliott combo. And I had to sort of sit and look at it for a little bit and go, "What's that?" Because there were things where it's like there was lots of like pre and post EQ things. Like the compressor wasn't just like compression; it was like I could set the ratio as well.
Yeah,
which are great things. Those are all great features. Don't get me wrong, but like at a bar gig, I was like, "Whoa! I don't really think I need a 10-band EQ right now." Like, oh my god! Like there was a lot of stuff going on, and I think in a studio that's great, but like on a gig, terrible idea.
I played an SW, which aren't on this list actually. SWR.
Okay, yeah.
I played a combo of theirs at a festival last weekend. I took the Ashdown, but they were like, "Here's the backline. It's a combo," and I was like, "Oh, okay. I'll disconnect the head part." And I took it out and I went to plug in my amp, and it was the wrong size input jack. And I borrowed because I use speak-ons, so I borrowed a speaker cable one from my friend, and it didn't fit at all, and I was like, oh, guess I'm using the combo then, which actually sounded all right, but it was the same thing. It had quite complex like controls that I couldn't just on a fly, and at a festival it's on the fly. I couldn't just be like, right, this is this. I was like, what is this? So,
yeah.
I know
right.
What you mean. Moving on.
What else have we got? Yeah, moving on.
TC Electronic.
They don't do anything anymore.
They don't do loads of heads, do they? Do they do anything anymore?
I don't really think they do anything anymore, which is quite strange because
they had the RH head, which was really good.
I had a combo of that and thought it was really good. I had a tiny little 2x8 cab years ago for a little bit. Really enjoyed that. They made some of the best pedals ever. The wiretap is amazing. I love the wiretap. That is a content creator's dream.
They do very good.
But I just don't think they do anything anymore. I think since Behringer bought them, they just sort of... I feel like Behringer bought them, harvested all the technology, and then just kind of stopped doing anything with them.
So they do still do stuff. I'm just confirming on their website.
Okay.
But nothing of note, really. They still make lots of cabs. Why is this being an absolute arse? Oh, well. But it's mainly like the little red heads that they do.
Yeah, okay.
Like
which are pretty decent, but they're not going to play with any of the big boys, are they?
No, absolutely not. The cabs, by all means, I think are pretty good. They do the blacksmith, which is their kind of 1600 watt head,
Cool.
which looks like, looking at the front panel of it, it's very much like the RH series, where you could just save presets and stuff like that. And they are a very good company technological wise, but right now they're just, like you said, they're just not big players, I don't think. It's tough between B or C for me.
C.
All right.
Yeah, I just don't think they can compete with a lot of the people in the B category anymore.
Yeah. Moving on to Trickfish. So Trickfish are very high end posh amps, nerdy amps, very glassy sound, very clean, very demure. That just aged this video so much.
Stop it! Oh God, it's just not even funny. But go on.
It took me. I didn't get it for so long. I was like, "What? Why is this popular?"
I still don't get it. I mean, I know I understand the joke.
Yeah,
like I know I've seen the original video, and that's quite funny. But like, I don't. Yeah, no, that's a really annoying meme.
Trickfish.
Yeah,
I never heard of them before this year.
It's fine. Yeah.
It's a C.
I
They're
think
not bad.
It's a C job for me.
Yeah. Oof. Yes, please. Right. Next one is an interesting one. Dark glass.
I can't read this. Oh, is that dark glass?
This is dark glass. Yeah. You can't. I don't know why they've imported this version of the logo, but it is dark glass.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
So, I own 2 dark glass amps. The head, the E500, and the combo. I've already said my thoughts about the combo. The head is great. I've had, one of my 2 favorite ever live. One of my top 3 live tones has been with that head. Like, sounded like incredible. It's a great bit of gear, but it's a bit, because it's all digital, all like control via app. Something goes wrong. I don't like that.
Yeah, that's the downside. But you know what? This might annoy a few people because people love to hate dark glass. But for everything they've done in such a short period of time, compared to a lot of these companies, they are not an old company in any way. They have walked in and dominated the market, especially in the rock and metal scene. They have completely taken over to the point where I think people dislike the dark glass sound, not because it's bad, but because they just don't want the same as everyone else.
Yeah, and because it's popular. It's like,
I have the AO900. Amazing amp. I have done everything from I've been in a metal band through to I've played afternoon acoustic wedding sets using it, and just with messing with the EQ and some of the settings and plugging different basses into it, it sounded so versatile. The plugin, the Dark Glass Ultra plugin by Neuro DSP is my favorite bass plugin by a very long way. I really rate it. I think they have to go in the S tier.
Ooh, yeah.
I know they're not as popular as they were like maybe 2 years ago, but I just think that's purely fatigue because that's all we've heard.
And everyone's going, oh, same thing again, or like, oh, another drive pedal or whatever.
Yeah, I think they've gone a bit samey in the last like year or two. Like they're clearly just bringing out more complicated versions of like drives they already have. But they're clearly selling very well. That's why they're following them. But I think in terms of innovation alone, I think they've just got to go in the S tier. They may lose the way in a few years as they kind of like realize, oh, we can only really do this, and we've run out of ideas. But for now, at least, I think it's an amazing product.
Yeah, I think, and I've been privy to that. I've fallen. What's the word I'm looking for? I have fallen victim to that trend as well of going like, oh, I don't want that sound. And almost when I'd hear somebody's rig sounding amazing. So I'd be like, oh, what is that? Like, that sounds so good. And be like, oh, it's a B7K.
Like how many? Yeah, exactly. How many times have you gone, oh my God, that sounds amazing? And it's like, you look on the pedal board as they're packing away and you go, oh my God, it's a B7K. Oh God, damn it.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's happened. So the B7K is amazing. I had one for a bit and I sold it. And I think if I ever found a really good deal on one, I think I'd rebuy one because I'm waiting for them to eventually do a port of that plugin for the Quad Cortex, like they've started doing with some of the other things. When they do that, I really do think I'll be set in terms of like all my distortion needs within that unit, because that is one of the greatest preamp and distortion pedals of all time, I think.
Yeah, it's so good.
In a few decades or less or whatever, it will be put up against the SVT, not the SVT. It will be put up against the Sans amp, and in some scenarios, it will win.
Well, most people had a Sans amp, then went to that. I did.
Yeah.
And then I went back to a Sans amp.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, after this conversation, I also now want one again. I've got the Alpha Omega.
Yeah, loved mine.
Which is also incredible.
I liked the Adam and then didn't like the Adam. But in a recent preset I've made for this thing I'm not talking about, my main like big distortion tone is a capture of an Adam into with none of the cab sim or anything on, into the front of an SVT. And it's just fantastic. It's just a massive distorted sound, like just really big. And then the other sound is the little Origin Effects DCX.
Oh,
Little capture of that, and that's a really nice, always on little bit of sizzle in there. Yeah. Dark Glass. I think we've just got to put them in the S tier for everything they've done over the last 5 years. Really.
Do you know what? I was sold on them being in the A tier, but I kind of I'm happy to put them in the S.
Yeah.
Happy to concede. Right. Let's fire through the rest of this list.
Again, I can't read this.
Okay. So this next one is Warwick.
Oh, okay.
Great basses.
Unbelievable basses. I didn't even know they made amps.
Yeah, they do the Gnome and other amps.
They do make the Gnome. Yeah. That's really cool though. The Gnome's quite cool, I think.
The Gnome is cool. For me though, these are C.
I will put them in C for the same reason of like the fact I'm not allowed to be more excited over the Gnome than I am over the Mark bass Little Mark.
Yes.
So I've got to just put them in.
Do you remember the Little Bastard? No, not the Little Bastard. That's the new one, the Little Giant. I think it was called the Ashdown Little Giant.
No, I didn't.
It was like and I think Trace Elliott do a little amp now as well, like a teeny tiny little amp.
We didn't even talk about that with Ashdown. Like they've got some really cool like other things. Like the Head of Doom is amazing. The Little Bastard is super cool. Great
CTM.
name as well. CTM. Yeah, they've just got a really wide range of just really good stuff.
Yeah.
And Ashdown cabs are really good as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway,
a fair few.
We're on to two here that I just don't recognise the logos for.
No,
at all.
So I can tell you the last one is Gensler.
Oh, I don't know anything about Gensler. I know the name, but I don't know anything about them.
No, I know I've seen a couple of Bass the World demos of them.
Yes, because they're German, aren't they?
Yeah, it's just a C. It's just like, they're fine.
We'll just
but
do that. Yeah.
Now no idea.
EA Sports is in the game.
It's in the bass. Oh, is it euphonic audio? Oh God, euphonic audio.
Okay, right.
EA amps.
The fact that the logo's that bad means we should put them in D tier.
Euphonic. I was going to say that euphonic audio. Just Googling them to make sure this is the right one. Yes, it is the right one.
Okay. I've never heard of them until now.
Oh God. Oh my God. They're so ugly, Chris.
Oh, okay. Right. Well.
Oh no. Right. We're going to put them in D, and that's going to piss people off. but
Yeah.
we're doing it just to balance
Do
it
we
out.
have any honourable mentions that you... Because, like, for example, Sansamp isn't in here, but they don't make amps, do they?
Tech 21.
Tech 21, yeah.
They did make an amp, but I don't
Right.
know if they currently make an amp.
Okay.
But yeah, they're not in here. Like I said, SWR aren't in here.
I've forgot the name of every bass amp ever. Marshall have bass amps.
High watt.
They have high watt. Yeah, high watt are great. High watt would be B tier for me. I think they make a really great amp.
Agreed. They would be B.
Obviously, Marshall
Black
goes
Star.
straight. Marshall goes straight in the A tier for me just because of Lemmy's bass amp, Murder One.
Yeah, my first bass amp was a Marshall actually.
Okay.
MB30 it was.
Oh yeah.
Black Star.
Black Star made bass amps. Yeah, true.
Behringer, like we said. Boss. Yeah. Oh, Bugera.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't know they did those.
Vox. I mean, they're not really very, very well known in the bass world, though, are they?
No. I mean, Noble make an amp.
Yes, they do.
But it is just the Noble DI, isn't it? But with big, massive power amp.
Big old power. Yeah. Well, there's our list. Some controversial ones. I'm sure people in the comments will have lots to say about.
I think we've probably annoyed a few people. There'll be someone is absolutely seething. I've just put Dark Glass in the S tier. Someone is fuming. Absolutely
you made a good argument. Because I was fully expecting them to go in the A tier.
I think I made a good argument. Yeah,
I think so.
Very good.
Well, congratulations for making it to the end of this video, everyone.
Well done, everyone. We made it.
Hooray!
Me, Johnny, and just you. Good job.
And San Miguel, our friend Miguel.
Absolutely. Cheers, Miguel.
If you want to support this podcast, you can go and follow us on Instagram at In the Pocket Pod. You can also support us by subscribing on YouTube and by rating this podcast 5 stars on your listening platform of choice, and leave us a nice little review. It really helps science to algorithms to help us reach more people and lets the people know, hey, this is a great podcast and we love it. So you should absolutely do that. Yes, please. Chris, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me literally everywhere under That Guy on Bass. Instagram is probably the place I use the most by like quite a long way, to be honest. If you wouldn't mind though, after you've subscribed to us at In the Pocket, if you wouldn't mind nipping onto my YouTube channel and giving me a little subscribe, that'd be very nice. I think I've only got like 115 followers. There's no like long form videos on there. It's just shorts that are on my Instagram page as well. But if you give me a little follow, a little subscribe, that'd be very much appreciated, because I am going to start doing YouTube videos, like genuinely, like I've started planning them out. It's something I've been wanting to do for ages, and it's very nice that some people have already decided to give me a follow on there when they didn't have to, because there's literally nothing for you. But if you're feeling nice, that would be very much appreciated. How about you, Johnny? Where can the good people find you?
Fantastic. You can find me on Instagram and YouTube, just at Jonny Dibble. Type in my name, I'll pop up, baby. And give us a follow and subscribe, will you, Chuck? Thank you very much. Once again, everyone, thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Tatty bye.